So you're going to take your notes on notability while we go through this slideshow. And it's recording right now, so here we go. So changes in states of matter. You need to start by knowing that there are two prefixes, endo and exo. Endo means out, and endo means in, and exo means out. And thermi means heat. So can anyone think of a word that has thermi in it, or therm?
Thermia?
Thermia? What does that mean?
Wait, is that a word?
Like hypothermia.
Oh yeah, that's a word.
Okay, and these all have to do with heat, either too much or too little heat, yeah. Thermometer is a measurer of heat. Okay, and
Thermite.
Over here, endo, an easy way to remember that is to think of the word enter. But really all you have to write is the word in. And then exo, what's the opposite of enter? Exit. So you could just think of the word exit. Okay. Now endothermic, an endothermic change is when heat goes into something. And an exothermic change is when heat goes out. So we're back. And if you go to the next slide, you need to know what melting point or freezing point is. This is a temperature. It's the temperature at which something melts or freezes. So you know ice, remember how we had the ice back here where I'm sitting on Friday in that lab? So the ice, when you measured it, what was the temperature? Does anyone remember the temperature in Celsius? It is 0, okay? It is 0 degrees Celsius. So the freezing point of water, or the freezing point, or the melting point of water is actually the same thing. It melts or freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay? Whoops. Let's move on to the next one called boiling point or condensation point. And that is the temperature at which water boils. So you may remember in the back there when there was boiling water, you took the temperature. Do you remember what that was? What temperature that was? In Celsius?
10 degrees.
Close.
Not even. 5?
No, close.
20?
No, that's not close. 5 and 20 weren't close. I lied.
Was it
What?
10? Was it 10?
No, it is, Blake. It's actually 100 degrees Celsius.
I was close
So-
to everybody.
So it's 100 degrees Celsius. So I always remember by how many dollars I make a year with this job. And that's how much I make a year.
How much?
$100
That's a lot
a
more than
year.
I make.
That's good. That's
I know.
I make,
That's pretty good.
I get $100.
It's true. It is more than you make.
no, I make 100.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about changes in states of matter. Melting. So when something melts, it's going from solid to what? To liquid. When you're melting something, are you adding energy or taking it out? No. You're adding energy. When you add energy to something, that is considered an endothermic change. So as we heat something, whether it's going from ice to liquid water or from liquid water to boiling, you're adding energy. This is called endothermic.
Where are we at?
Now, if you're to make, let's say you're trying to make ice cream. You have liquid milk, and you want to make it into what state of matter? Solid milk.
Fluffy
So to do that, do you take heat out of it or put heat into it?
into it.
Put heat in. So melting, you're putting heat in. And one really important way I want you to think about this in the future is, you don't actually make something colder. Did you know that? You can't make something colder. You're not ever add cold to something. The only thing you can ever do is take heat out of something or add heat to something. And heat, by the way, is just how fast particles are moving. So if you have something and you want to chill it and get it colder, do you add cold to it? Are you adding cold?
Yeah.
No.
You're taking heat away.
You're taking heat away. Let's move on. And, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. So the next one is freezing. Freezing, and there's Sub-Zero. I see some of you are game fans. Changing from liquid to solid. So this is what we hope to do with milk tomorrow. And in this case, when you're freezing something, energy is taken out. So if you take energy out, it's exiting. So is that endo or exothermic?
Endo.
Exiting is exothermic. Entering is endothermic.
Can I enter?
To vaporization. Vaporization is when liquid goes to gas. And that requires heating something. So, Ray, is that an endothermic or exothermic? It's endo, because you're adding heat to it, right?
Dude, I'm so confused.
So, basically, what you want to know when you're leaving today is I want you to know the difference between endo and exothermic. Endo is when you add heat to something. Exothermic is when you take heat away. Okay? If you want me to break it down like that. So, next. Boiling. And guess what, guys? Boiling and vaporization are the same thing. They're both going from liquid to gas. They are both endothermic. They are both having energy added to them. Okay, condensation is one that people rarely think about. It's when gas goes to liquid. This is when gas is, right now around you, you always have liquid water. You don't really notice it, but it's in gaseous form. That liquid water around you, that gas water around you right now when you just go like this, you don't notice it, but you will notice it when you have something like a cold glass. Have you ever had a cold drink where it looks like it's sweating? I'm sure you all have. And that sweat, it's not sweat, and it's not coming from inside the glass. It's coming from outside. So that water dripping down the side of a cold glass, it's coming from the moisture outside. So, sublimation is another one that people rarely see or think about, but sublimation is when you have a solid going straight to gas. A great example of that is dry ice. Dry ice is probably the most famous example of that. And this one is when dry ice gets heated, it goes straight from solid to gas, and that's why dry ice is kind of cool, because it doesn't get things messy. If you put it in water, it starts to bubble. It does all sorts of cool things. That is an endothermic change.